Decluttering, be it physical when you get rid of things that no longer serve you, or mental when you say no to limiting and outdated thinking patterns, is just the first step towards a simpler, calmer, and more intentional living. And once you've cleared your personal space outside and inside, it might be time to add some new meanings there, to make it truly yours, unhurried and undistracted. In today's video, I'll share with you some simple habits that can introduce more clarity, balance, and freedom into your everyday life. Maybe you already do some of these, or maybe you will be inspired to try them out. Let's see. There's a brilliant movie called The Lives of Others about East Germany and a Stasi officer closely watching and tracking people and their lives. And if you haven't watched it, I highly recommend. I think it's one of my favorite movies of all times. And while in that movie, the act of watching other people, however historically problematic it is, in the end, it has a very positive and humanistic outcome for the main character. In real life, the situation, of course, in our present day situation, the outcome can be quite different. In our age of social media, influencers, celebrities, and overexposure to the portrayed lives of others, a person can feel really overwhelmed, which can result in social comparison, envy, and self-depreciation. The thing is that social comparison in the offline life usually involves the self and just a few others, while social media present almost limitless potential for a person to compare themselves against others. And there is no easy solution how to avoid this social comparison, but there is one great tip that I've been following myself a lot that can be really helpful. What you can start doing right now today is to compare yourself only to yourself, how you've changed, how you've grown, your own achievements compared to last year, last month, or yesterday. It can be quite challenging to start because we humans naturally are reluctant to recognize ourselves as we are, but then once you turn it into a habit, it will be quite easy. By shifting your life focus from others, be them complete strangers or even your family and friends, to your own self can bring a lot of clarity to your everyday routines. And by the way, it's not egocentrism, it's a different thing, it's an extreme, so it's important to observe a balance here. Once I read an article from a practicing psychologist about how we tend to waste our mental energy daily without even noticing it. The psychologist suggested doing just a one-day experiment to write down all the black holes that sap your optimism, motivation, hope, just everything that is considered to be mental energy. By the way, the term mental energy has nothing to do with mysticism or esoterics. In science, it's recognized simply as the mood or the ability or willingness to engage in any type of cognitive activity. In a nutshell, it's just using your mind, your brain, to live your life. Unfortunately, we are not bottomless pots of energy. We have certain deposit inside that we use on a daily basis and that gets refilled, of course, but it often happens so that we find ourselves in debt to ourselves just because we've used up that deposit very mindlessly. Invest in yourself in relationships that don't give that much back, or living up to someone else's expectations, constantly worrying about things that are beyond your control, and even reading a book that you don't like, but for some reason you feel like you have to finish reading it because that's what adults do, right? All these can be your personal black holes. To give you a personal example, one of the biggest waste of my personal mental energy has been catastrophic thinking. I'm still in the process of dealing with it, and maybe I will make a separate video about the whole concept of catastrophic thinking and how to manage it. But yeah, at the moment it's the cup of poison that I brew for myself. And honestly, it's not the only one. I have quite a few, just as you can have pretty many such cups of poison. Tracking what depletes you is absolutely necessary for building your personal borders, for getting to know yourself better, for eliminating the unnecessary in order to live simply yet fully. I do believe that having a dream or multiple dreams in life is a very beautiful thing that fuels up motivation, hope, and resilience. But it often can happen so that you either don't really know what dream you want to have, or you choose to follow someone else's dream because it's the easiest way, which on the other hand can result in you living a life that is not yours. I've had quite complicated relations with dreams and dreaming in general. First, I just didn't allow myself to dream because for some reason I thought that I didn't deserve it. I felt so unimportant to my own self that later on it caused a lot of complications in my life. I just couldn't see the route that I wanted to go. I couldn't feel what I was drawn to without listening to the loud chorus of voices in my head. And those voices were telling something about building a serious life, having a well-to-do family with children, securing a solid position in the society, and so on. I mean, all those things are important to many people because it's their authentic dreams, but they were not mine, as it turned out in the end. When you shape your dreams well by asking yourself the right questions and giving honest answers to those questions, when you form realistic intentions needed to fulfill their dreams, your life automatically becomes less frightening and chaotic and more inviting. Be careful what you water your dreams with. Water them with worry and fear, and you will produce weeds that choke the life from your dream. Water them with optimism and solutions, and you will cultivate success. Always be on the lookout for ways to nurture your dream. The world we are living in and the hustle culture we are forced to participate in make it so challenging to separate work from life. Currently, I have to work for myself from home, and I would find it so hard not to think about work and ways to sustain my living when I was supposed to rest and enjoy my free time. One day it just struck me, like really struck me, that thinking about work and planning is actually working. Yes, before I didn't understand that, and I would even brush my teeth thinking about work. The thing is that I genuinely like to work, and the modern concept of living a work-free life is not speaking to me at all, because first, I'm realistic, and second, I do understand that working is a way for me to fulfill myself as a person, but As someone with very low energy levels naturally and certain health struggles, it has become very vital to balance work and life, and I had to become very authoritarian, even totalitarian to myself in this way, and just to prohibit myself to think or do anything work related outside my working hours. And this simple habit includes the tiny little rituals such as reading a book first thing in the morning instead of anxiously checking the emails, or having a walk or a workout during the lunchtime instead of spending it at the desk. Yeah, all these can have really amazing long-term benefits. Brian, my partner, has a wonderful sense of humor, and he has to remind me quite often not to take myself too seriously. Because, well, I tend to do that because of my innate melancholic constitution. But I found out that when you laugh at yourself more, when you allow yourself to let go of some excessively serious attitudes, it can feel so liberating. Of course, there's a fine line crossing which you can end up severely demeaning yourself. That's why I try to keep it gentle and breezy. Being able to laugh at yourselves involves recognizing your flaws and mistakes as something not that serious, making light of them, and instead of berating yourself, nurture more self-love and self-compassion. And in my personal challenges, this self-humor helps me deal with my severe catastrophic thinking. The only rule here is just to be kind to yourself. We are all different and unique, and what works for me will not necessarily work for you, and vice versa. That's why I want to encourage you to take all the tips, every advice that you encounter online or offline with a grain of salt. Live your own life, choose your own path, and hopefully this video gave you at least a little bit of inspiration and support in doing that. And if you would like to see more personal weekly content from me, check out my Patreon page. There you will get access not only to all the weekly videos that I've posted, but also some creative freebies, printables that I offer to my Patreons. And there is such a kind and gentle circle of people. Soon I plan to introduce some more exciting changes and additions to all my Patreons. So if you would like to access to all of the mentioned above and to support my work as a creative, the link will be down below. It is everyone that supports me on Patreon and other tipping platforms who make this channel possible for me to run. Thank you for your time and attention, dear friends. As always, I invite you to share your thoughts and experiences related to what we've discussed today down in the comments. And I'm wishing you a beautiful week ahead. Be safe and keep your heart open. And I will see you soon. Пока-пока.